Welcome to News and Views on Salam Media. This time is just gone 7 after 8 o'clock. Our first interview of the morning is with Patrick Lukusa Kadima, and we're looking at the Minister of Trade and Industry and Competition, Parks Tao, has departed for the United States, and this was on the 21st, which is 2 days ago. He will be leading a South African delegation to the 21st African Growth and Opportunity Act. That, of course, is AGOA, the AGOA Forum, which is taking place in Washington, D.C. from the 24th to the 26th of this month. And we also understand that the delegation will include representatives from government, the private sector, civil society, and organized labor. Let's understand what it's all about and how it's going to be serving us here in South Africa regarding investment opportunities and bilateral trade relations with the US. A very good morning to you, Patrick. Lovely to have you on the show. Welcome. Patrick, are you there? I can see your picture, but it seems like it's frozen. Okay, we're having a bit of technical problems. Let's try and iron that out. Stay with us. We'll go for a quick ad break and see if we can hook up once again with Patrick Kadima.
Moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
Contact Lenasia Livestock and Poultry for all your sadaqah, akika and kurbani requirements. We offer clean, hygienic abattoir style and refrigeration facilities. Sheep, goats and cows are available at competitive market-related prices, direct to the public. We slaughter, slice and distribute on your behalf. But that's not all. Introducing Meat Masters Halal Butchery, our sister company situated on our farm in Lenasia. Unbeatable prices on lamb, beef and chicken. Lenasia Livestock and Poultry. Livestock is our business. We are Sanha approved. Telephone 011 857 1774. Call now.
You know, it's a wonder how kids get anything done these days. With all the distractions, when do they even get time to study? As a mother, all I can really do is make sure they have all they need to perform at their best. That's why I choose to include Sunfoil, triple refined pure sunflower oil with every meal I make. Naturally cholesterol-free and approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a balanced eating plan. So whether I'm cooking, frying or baking, I know every dish will be a wholesome one. Sunfoil, now we're cooking.
After the recent attacks on Gaza, many families have been displaced with their homes left destroyed. Through your donations, our teams are on the ground in Gaza, providing support and delivering necessary aid to families affected. The people of Gaza need your help. Give hope. Donate today to Penny Appeal South Africa. www.pennyappeal.org.za 031 1100 573.
We are here on the ground with Penny Appeal organizations in Gaza.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042-203-1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
Valley's Motor Spares. We supply motor spares and accessories for all makes and models of motor cars, LDVs, bakkies, trucks, and earth-moving equipment. We deliver on time, every time. Please contact us via WhatsApp on 014-592-0925 or call 014-592-0925 or visit 28 Zenderling Street, Rustenburg. Remember the name, Valley's Motor Spares.
Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
Welcome back. It's exactly 12 after 8 o'clock. This is News and Views on Salam Media. And we are now going to be talking with Patrick Lukusa Kadima by telephone. There seems to be a problem with the network. Patrick is a lecturer at the Wits Business School, and he's here to talk to us about Minister Park Tau's delegation to the 21st AGOA Forum in Washington, D.C. So clearly we're going to be talking about bilateral relations and strengthening trade ties between the two countries. Patrick, a very good morning to you. Welcome to the program.
Good morning to you too, and good morning to your listeners.
Okay, sorry that we can't get you on video streaming, but at least we have you on the telephone, and let's understand how we move forward with this interview. Let's hope there's no breakdown in the connection. But let's get to this delegation to the United States by Minister Patrick Tau. I also understand that there was a delegation last year in November, and obviously the current one follows the successful hosting of the 20th AGOA Forum by South Africa in Johannesburg. Will this be kind of a natural follow-up or follow-on to the November talks here in South Africa?
Yes, indeed. With such bilateral treaties that usually take place, and that are renewable at a certain period of time, there are obviously negotiations that take place, right? And it's such that the AGOA Forum had its meeting here last year, November, and now this is a sort of like follow-up in terms of ahead of what will be the renewal, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in September, right? When it comes to the end of September, and countries will know whether some of them are renewed and so on and so forth. So yes, it's a follow-up. It's a follow-up to what happened last year in November, but it's also, a time for South Africa to, maybe try to state its needs, try to smoothen the relationship between it and the United States of America. Following the tensions that have been there, not only over Israel and Palestine, but as well as Russia and Ukraine, So there are those tensions that will be playing, beneath, everything that will be happening there. As I've previously said, I don't think it is the right, appropriate forum for these issues of Israel and Palestine and Ukraine and Russia to be to be echoed in those rooms, because there are respective ministers and state officials or government officials that are responsible for such diplomatic issues. So, but there will, certainly those issues will be playing behind the scenes, if I may put it that way.
Seeing that you've raised that very critical point, let me continue with that train of thought. We do know that South Africa lodged a case with the ICJ regarding the genocide by Israel on Palestine. There was a case that was heard. There was a ruling that was made a few days ago. And we do know that now, possibly, we don't know, it might sour relations between the United States and South Africa. I hope not. Or there might be a bit of tension around that issue. You have also indicated that these are two totally different issues, and this has to do with trade relations between the two countries, but it can and might have a negative impact, knowing that the United States of America is South Africa's second largest trading partner in the world. And obviously the emphasis, this emphasizes the strategic importance of the bilateral relationship between South Africa and the United States. But I'm kind of wondering, is this going to perhaps put us on the back foot, the ICJ case and our stance on the support to the Palestinian people. A short while ago, last week sometime, I spoke to Minister Ronald Lamola, and he said that there's absolutely no ways will South Africa backtrack on its support on Palestine. So having said all of that, how do you view the AGOA to play out?
Yes, that's helpful there. But let me just say one thing here. Let me begin with this. The recent ICJ advisory opinion was an advisory opinion that was requested. So, intentionally, the court has two functions. It adjudicates disputes between states. Then the second function of it is to give advisory opinions. Now, the recent advisory opinion we saw currently from the ICJ was an advisory opinion requested by an international organization that has the power to request for advisory opinions from the court. And the court then ruled that what Israel was doing was unlawful, it was against international law, and so it is essentially an opinion of the court. It does not have legal binding. It's not legally binding, but it is morally binding, and we have seen in previous years, where the court has given advisory opinions that these so-called international organizations, all right, or international bodies in the UN, or organs of the UN that request for these advisory opinions, tend to follow what the International Court of Justice has said. So yes, despite it not being a ruling as such, but just an advisory opinion, it has moral force. It will shape how countries going forward will view the Israel and Palestine situation. And obviously, look, South Africa has obviously had tensions with its with its trading partners globally and in the region, time and time and again. It is normal for countries to have tensions, with its trading partners. We see it in the continent as well, But these tensions sometimes do not boil down to a point where, where it can affect this. I think in terms of AGOA, despite these tensions showing, I don't think it will play out as such, it will affect the renewal of the. I'm very sure, and I stand firm. What I've said previously, that the AGOA will be renewed in South Africa, will be part of AGOA, because both markets need each other. The American market needs South Africa as a gateway to Africa, and South Africa needs America as well. We have local. Should I say, local business people that have benefited through AGOA, sending their goods and services to America. So, despite these tensions, I just think that, it will be renewed. But, with uncertainty now going to the elections in November, the American election, and possibly the Republicans, ahead currently, we don't know what might happen, because with the candidate that's currently representing the Republicans, we know, and we've seen during his 4-year term as president, what sort of positions and decisions he has taken previously abruptly, and so on and so forth. So we will wait to see. All these things will shape what will happen.
Okay, you've just preempted my next question by talking about the upcoming elections in America, and also knowing that Joe Biden has stepped aside. There's a lot of talk around Kamala Harris probably being the Democratic, the choice by the Democrats to stand for the presidency come the November elections. But you've also alluded to Donald Trump, and from the way we're viewing it right now, he seems to have a very strong chance to be, to be the president, to serve another term as a president in America. And I'm guessing that you're alluding that if Donald Trump does become president of the United States that perhaps because of our stance here in South Africa, the support by South Africa to the Palestinian people, and the fact that we've taken the matter to the ICJ and the ICC, it might just sour relations between the two countries? And how will that impact then on AGOA? Because Pakistan, the delegation there, obviously are there to discuss strong bilateral talks between the two countries.
Yeah. You know, it's quite difficult at this point to foresee what will happen if the Republicans enter government, you know. But what I can say is that from the past years that we have seen Trump in power and the foreign policy of America towards a lot of issues, you know, it obviously brings a lot of uncertainty. I mean, it's a change of government, it's a change of ideologies, you know, and you have someone here who views also South Africa's, you know, largest trading partner in China, you know, as a threat, you know, to America, you know, and he has been loud about that. So, you know, there are all these issues that are playing out. You know, South Africa is due to hold the G20 meeting, I think, next year, or I don't know. But again, it will play out. You know, you know how we will have to wait and see how it will all play out if the Republicans enter into power. But for me, I've always said that with the Republicans, you know, the foreign policy is uncertain. How it will look at Africa, it is uncertain, you know. Even for Kenyans themselves, if I may add, you know, as we saw Ruto being invited by Biden, being awarded the non-key member, non-network key member, something like that status, you know, and building relations with Kenya. All this, you know, is now in the air, you know, because if the Trump, if the Republicans win and Trump enters power, then there might be changes to a lot of things on this continent and how America perceives Africa, and in turn how Africa perceives America. But I think with South Africa and its strong diplomacy, its strong foreign policy, you know, on the continent and abroad, and despite its views on certain matters, I just think it would be a lot more for America to lose South Africa as an ally on the continent, because then that will mean that essentially that you know, most African countries will have to face the other way, you know. So I think America, even under the Trump government, will try by all efforts, despite the changes that will happen, to have a strong relationship with South Africa.
Now, I know that you are a lecturer at Wits Business School, and we're talking business issues, bilateral trade relations between the two countries, and that's really the theme of this interview. However, we can't, you know, we can't separate politics from trade either, because they're so intertwined. Let me ask this question then. The fact of the matter is that Biden has now stepped aside, but he has indicated that he will serve his term till November, when the new president-elect will then take over in the United States. But as recently as yesterday or 2 days ago, Netanyahu went to America to meet with Biden. Obviously, this was planned in advance, and I'm wondering, with him being in the States right now and the South African AGOA delegation being in the States as well, will it have any impact negatively on the talks, the AGOA talks?
It to a certain extent, but I don't think it will be so much influential. I mean, he will be, Netanyahu will be appealing to these conservative you know, lawmakers, you know, that would want to stick with Israel, you know. But with South Africa being these are two obviously separate trips that have been undertaken, and I don't think it will at all affect, you know, how the talks are going to be happen. I've seen, and I don't know, I've heard that apparently, if it's true, Kamala Harris has declined to preside over Netanyahu's speech that will be addressing Congress. So there's that. You can see that there's that skepticism, that is currently, happening with a Democratic party nominee, and who is the current vice president. If at all it is true, then it says something. It says a lot. That really there is also, despite Biden's position in his government, his strong allies have different views as well. So I don't think it will influence at all the bilateral talks that will happen and overthrow them. It will be nothing major. There will be obviously tensions, but as I've said, that these tensions, South Africa and America has had tensions before for many years, and I just think the deal will go through. How both countries maneuver going forward the situation in Israel and Palestine, Ukraine versus Russia, is still to be seen with the new Minister of International Relations, because at the end of the day, he will say his statements in public, but what happens beyond closed doors and what happens in multilateral forums is to be seen, and how the GNU will shape the foreign policy of South Africa, because I don't think it will be ever the same again that the past 5 years we've had with the ANC. Some things will have to change in the GNU if it is true that policies of the GNU will have to be spoken in the court and decided on. Then we'll have to see how it goes forward.
And that's where we're going to leave it. Thank you indeed, Patrick Lukusa, Kadima, lecturer at Wits Business School, talking about Minister Park's Tau's delegation to the 21st AGOA Forum in Washington. Thank you indeed for your thoughts on this issue. It is exactly 8:29 a.m. News and views moving along. Next up, we are going to be talking with Julius Kleinhans regarding the Crisis Alliance call for the resignation of Joburg Mayor Kabelo Kwamanda.